Today on Dimitri's Garage, we're going to be looking at the Adams Graphene Ceramic Coating. Yes, we're finally getting to this video. Many of you have asked for it. Now with this little guy, we're going to do our full battery of tests, including ease of application, visual appeal, slickness testing, gloss meter readings. We're going to look at UV protection and of course durability. We're going to apply this Adams Graphene Ceramic Coating to this test hood. Now, ease of application is pass-fail. It is rated subjectively based on my opinion. To remove the product, we're going to be using these Speedmaster towels that our friends at AutoGeek were kind enough to provide us. And AutoGeek gave us these coating applicators that I'm also going to use. And the application itself is really basic. We're going to shake this bottle up. And then we're going to start in a crosshatch pattern over this hood. Normally, if we were using a spray coating, I would recommend a mask with a chemical cartridge. And we'll give this a couple of minutes to flash. Now, if I was working on a whole vehicle in an enclosed space, I probably would still use a respirator. We're going to go ahead and wipe this product up with the Speedmaster coating removal towel. And, you know, this product claims to basically be the big daddy to the graphene ceramic spray coating that we used in the past. They're talking about something like 7 years of durability. And one of the things that they mentioned is 10H actually hardness. Now, this is something that I want to clarify for you guys. 10H hardness, you might have remembered science class where hardness was the Mohs scale. For a coating, when they say 10H hardness, they're talking about a 10H pencil. They're talking about the pencil hardness scale. So they're saying that a 10H hardness drafting pencil won't scratch the surface. They're not talking about 10H as in diamond. On the actual hardness scale that we would use in science, 10H pencil is something like a 2, while your fingernail's a 2.5, and a diamond's a 10. That is not to say coatings are bad. We've seen tremendous results from coatings. But I will give Adams credit. When you look at their page and you click on the link that describes the hardness, they do show you that it is pencil hardness. That is a really big difference between other brands. Most of them will just say incredibly hard, 9H, 10H. If you guys want to know more about this kind of stuff, let me know. Maybe I can find a chemist, or maybe one of you guys out there is a chemist that wants to talk about this. So now that we're done, let's talk about the ease of application. Well, the surface was prepped like for any coating. It was decontaminated, it was polished and corrected. This product says it is just a 1-coat application. Up to 3 coats could be layered for added performance. So given how easy it came on and wiped off, I think this was very easy to use. There are other coatings that are a lot tougher to wipe off. Now we're gonna give this panel a 24-hour cure window as per the instructions, and then we will resume our testing. While this product cures, I did wanna show you something cool, that it is UV reactive. In my opinion, it's a little gimmicky. It's a little hard to see with all the lights on, but I'm gonna turn the lights off and let you see what it looks like. So you guys should be able to see my UV light provide kind of a glow. And then maybe you can even see where I overlapped on the tape. You should see kind of splotches on the tape. And there's actually a band here where it looks like I went a little thick. And overall, it doesn't look like I left really any gaps. There's UV glow here, and there's really no glow here. Let's talk a little about UVA protection. Now, this test, just like our slickness test, I'm not gonna go through the whole physics and science of, it would just take too long. If you are curious about how it works, I will link a video up here that I made in the past. For our test, we use this test strip, which effectively gives you from 0 to 16 points, depending on how much UV exposure there was, with 0 being complete UV exposure and 16 being no UV exposure. And this particular product lands, I would say, at a 3. It is a little darker than a 4, a little lighter than a 2. It is completely normal for us to find that virtually all products don't provide any significant UV protection. Something like commercial sunscreen or clear coat will be around an 8. Before moving on to the next test, I want to remind you guys that there are Amazon affiliate links down below in the description to a lot of the products that we're using in this video. Now, if you click through and you buy anything at all on Amazon after using my link, I get a very small commission at no added cost to you, and it helps support the channel. Furthermore, there is a link to my website also down below in the description with the table of all our prior tests. And guys, of course, I would love it if you subscribed, left me a nice comment, gave me a thumbs up. It means the world to me. I love engaging with all of you. It feels like we're building a community. Here, we're gonna use this gloss meter to test this panel, which reads 94 gloss units without any product on it. For every 1/10 of a gloss unit in delta that we read on the tested side, we will either add or subtract that amount of points. Turn our gloss meter on and check that it is indeed calibrated. It should say 104 at 20 degrees, and we look good. So let's first see that our sample here that's untreated is really 94 gloss units. And it's an average, right? We average 5 spots and we're getting 94.2. So now we're gonna go on this side and we're gonna take 5 readings and see what we come up with, having treated this with the graphene ceramic from Adams. Looks like 93.1 over on this side, and reading about 94 over in this corner. That's not bad at all. Looking like 94.2 in the middle, and I'm seeing 93.4 over here, and 93.7 over in this corner. So looking at our calculator, we scored 486.4. We're gonna divide that by 5 to average. And we're gonna say that's 93.7, and we're gonna subtract 94. And that means this product has lost 3/10 of a gloss unit, so it's gonna score a -0.3. Something to consider is that losing 3/10 of a gloss unit is not necessarily the end of the world. And this is because 94 gloss units, which is our base, represents a well-polished car paint. If you're starting somewhere in the 80s, most waxes, sealants, coatings are able to raise that gloss because you're starting with a dull paint. Now for this test here, I'm not gonna go through the full details of the physics involved, but essentially we are finding the static coefficient of friction. If you are curious about the specifics, I do have a standalone video just for this process, and I'll link it right up here in your top corner. So we're gonna measure the amount of gram force it takes to move this 1,040 gram block. And that's 100 grams. We're measuring in kilos. Let's do our second measurement. And that's 90 grams. Third measurement, 160 grams. Now we're gonna do the fourth, 120 grams. And the fifth, final one, 160. So we can see our total is 630 grams. We're gonna divide by 5 to get the average. For an average of 130, we're gonna round up. We're gonna divide 130 by 1040, and that means our static coefficient of friction is 0.13, we're gonna round up. Take 0.38, which is just the bare polished paint, and we're gonna subtract 0.13, and that means our delta is 0.25. Now we're gonna use a point factor of 30 points, which gets us sort of a 1 through 10 score for most products. Some can go negative, some can theoretically go above 10, and this one is gonna score 7.5 points. When I test for visual appeal, I give the product either a 0 as a failure or a 1 as a pass. The reason I do that is because it's subjective. It's just my opinion, and when I give a 0, to me, it really means the product has not improved the look of the paint and has actually hurt it. This product does look appealing. It is nice and shiny. It's got a little warmth to it and a little depth. If we look on the side, there is a demarcation line. I'll run against it with my finger. And on the left side is the treated surface, and on the right is the untreated. And you can tell that the treated left side is definitely deeper. It just looks glossy and deep and kind of warm. And the right side, although it has that high polish and does look good, it isn't quite as rich. And now we've moved to the other side of the hood, and there's that line again. And sometimes this can be hard to see because YouTube only gives us 8-bit color. It is not as rich and deep as some of the other ones that I've played with recently, but it is definitely very good to look at and definitely deserves a 1 for a pass. Not only did it preserve the look of polished paint, it did enhance it. So now we're ready to do the durability testing on this hood, and what we're gonna do is wash it repeatedly with some Adams Original Blue shampoo and the same mitt that we've used for every test. And essentially, we will stop washing whenever the product looks to have broken down. And really what that means is like looking at your car and saying, oh, hey, it looks like the coating doesn't really work that well anymore. It's time to put a new coating on. You'll see kind of big dead areas and you'll say, yeah, that's no good. So first, let's see just how hydrophobic is the Adams ceramic graphene coating. That is very hydrophobic. And you can see how the water gets kind of stuck on the untreated section in the bottom. Let's go ahead and cover this. And take our sponge and cover that too. And now we're just gonna do this side because the other side will stay as our control. Let's give it a rinse. So now we've done a full wash cycle, and let's see if our product is still working. It looks like it's working beautifully. I'm gonna keep washing the right side over here, and I'll stop periodically and give you an update. I have now done 9 washes, and I'm ready to do the 10th, and let's look at it together. And you can see the soap is attaching a little better. Let's rinse her off. All right, let's take a look 10 in and see if we've had any appreciable change to the hydrophobic properties. That is an incredibly sharp contrast on the untreated area versus the treated. The only difference I've noticed is just how the shampoo tacks up. I am now to the 80th wash. Let's do it together. Let's rinse this off. Now let's take a look at the performance. Remember, this is 80 washes in. I think at 80, that performance is amazing. We are seeing a little fade, you know, we're able to kind of generate a little bit of water pooling. We are now on the 200th wash, and let's do it together. All right, let's take a look at the performance. So 200 in, the performance is unbelievably good. It looks like the product is finally there. Let's do the 840th, 840th wash together. Those of you that have been asking me for this video because you saw my prior Adam's Graphene spray product video, you guys better be leaving me some thumbs up and comments down below, because this is leaving me super sore. It's past midnight now, and I'm going a little nutty actually. I had to take a break for a few minutes. And you can see the shampoo is just sticking to it now. All right guys, moment of truth. Is this product done at 840? So I would call that done. There are still some patches that work kind of in this area and some around the sides. But you know, if this was my car, I'd be calling it quits. And let's look at the original side just to compare. It's time to do the wrap up for the Adam's Graphene ceramic coating. And I think it's most fair to compare this to their spray version of this product, because that product was a very big hit on the channel. Now, this product, in application terms, is just as easy to use, if not maybe a little easier. Personally, it gets less aerosolized solvents for you to breathe, and it gave a generous flash time. I'd say I spent about 3.5 minutes. I really didn't feel worried or rushed to do it. Came off so easily, it felt like I could have waited even longer and it still would have come off. Let's talk about slickness. I have the spray version of this applied to the truck, and I've measured them before. And the spray version came in at a 6.9. The test wasn't available during the video, but I went back and I retested all the products. And this version came in at a 7.5. So it feels slicker. Comparing it to the truck, it feels slicker. It definitely seems to provide more support for when you're washing, to get, you know, the pad running nice and smooth over the paint, less chance of scratching. Interestingly, for UVA protection, this scored a 3 while the spray scored a 0. So it does seem like there is some difference. Maybe it just comes on thicker. As far as visual appeal, like its spray product, it looks great. You will not be disappointed. However, I would not go as far to say that either product is a show car style, like super glossy, super deep, super, you know, that show car character where it's just glossy. It's harder to find. You guys know what I'm talking about, where you get that warmth, like that glow from the paint. So let's get to what's on everybody's mind. 840 washes. Isn't that crazy? This is now the king of the hill for durability. At 200, I kind of felt like, yeah, this is probably going to edge out that Blackfire Black Edition that we tested the other day, which was, you know, terrific. And it felt like at 200 this was going to go past because it was barely taking a hit. And I thought, okay, maybe 3, maybe 350. But at the time, at one point I was hitting 7, and I literally went to a Slack channel that I chat with a lot of my friends, and I was like considering my life choices. And you know, eventually I came back out here after, you know, enjoying a seltzer, and I finished up the other 140. I am gonna do more coatings because it's really piqued my interest. I'm still gonna continue doing the other products as well, and I have a ton of other things that have been sent in and that I've ordered and that I've had requests for. So it's not gonna become, you know, Dimitri's coating channel. Well guys, I'm real tired. It's actually 12:30 now, and I'm gonna go pull the video off the SSDs I've been recording on, get them on my server, and start editing for you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get the video out by Monday morning, maybe Tuesday at the latest, depending on how much time I have. And I hope to see you guys down below in the comments, and let me know what you think. This was crazy. So catch you again real soon. Times when you absolutely positively have to get your groceries